Okay, good afternoon everyone. Sa mga naka-log-in na, klaro ba akong tingog? Lagari, Gabak, Tabamo, Lorenzana, Sistuso, and Kidlayan. Maklaro ba akong tingog? We have also Largo, Augitin. Okay. Anyone who can confirm na maklaro akong tingog? Kaya para magsugot ako. Sa atong GC, maklaro ang akong tingog sa live stream dili. Okay, thank you Miss Lorenciana for confirming. So let's start. Okay, thank you Angelique for confirming. So we will start na. So chapter 6 atong topic karon, the modifiers of human acts. Part 1 kay napamatay part 2 ani next week. So modifiers of human acts, unsa man yung modifiers of human acts? Unsa gitong mga human acts na to? Unsa man po ng modifiers? So pasabot ani is katong makapa-change sa imuhang behavior. I-modify niya ang imong behavior. So we have here five, the first five, kaya ang part 2 mo itong number 6, paingon sa number 10. So here we have the modifiers of human acts. We have ignorance, passion, fear, violence, and habit. So sa first nga modifier natay four types of ignorance. So you have the simple ignorance, invincible ignorance, conquerable ignorance, and affected ignorance. While sa passion, natay concupiscible passion, irascible passions, and sensible passions. Under sa concupiscible passions, natay love, hate, and desire. While sa irascible passions, natay hope, despair, and courage. While in sensible passions, naapod joy, sadness, and anger. In fear, modifier, natay tulo, servile fear, filial fear, and initial fear. Under sa violence nga modifier, we have physical violence, verbal violence, and psychological violence. And lastly, ito ang first five nga modifiers of human acts. Ang pinaka-last is ang habit. So again, we have good habit, also known as virtue, bad habit, also known as vice or katong bisyo, and mixed habit. Okay, so let's start. So we have 15 learning outcomes here. So kamuna ang magbasa aning 15 ka learning outcomes in your own free time. Ako lang ihatag ani isang number 15, which is the important part sa tanan nga learning outcomes is to apply the knowledge in real world situations. So sa inyo mga natud-an sa aning chapter, i-apply na to sa real world situation. Okay? So kamo na magbasa sa 14 learning outcomes in your own free time. Okay, so let's proceed sa atoang chapter ko. Our objectives, the situations we find ourselves, and the results we produce all have an impact on the essence of what we do and how our character is built. So what does this quotation emphasizes? So it emphasizes the interconnectedness of our goals, the context we navigate, and the outcomes we achieve in shaping our character. It also suggests that our actions, driven by our objectives, are not isolated events but integral components of our character development. It underscores the idea that our choices under circumstances we engage with contribute to the fundamental nature of who we are. It implies that the alignment of our goals with ethical considerations and the thoughtful consideration of the situations we encounter play a crucial role in molding our character. Ultimately, the outcomes we produce serve as reflections of our values and principles, influencing the overall construction of our character over time. So muna siya ang pasabot or gi-emphasize sa ato ang chapter code. So let's proceed to the main topic, the modifiers of human acts. So first we have ignorance. Let's go directly to the first type of ignorance. We have simple ignorance. So simple ignorance refers to a lack of knowledge or awareness regarding a specific moral issue or circumstance. It occurs when a person is unaware of a moral principles or ethical concerns pertinent to a certain situation. Okay, someone, for example, may be oblivious of the environmental effects of their behavior because they have not been exposed to climate change knowledge. Okay, so that is simple ignorance. Another example ani is kanang snow. I don't have experience of snow but I know the idea of what a snow is. So kanan ba nakahawid na sa snow? Think wala pa sa ref siguro kanang sa freezer. Pero dili na siya snow. Na itong snow. Okay, so again, simple ignorance. I know the idea of a snow pero wala ko experience sa snow. So that is simple ignorance. Okay, next we have invincible ignorance. So it happens when a person lacks knowledge or information despite taking reasonable efforts to gain it. In other words, the person is not to blame for their ignorance because they have done everything possible to become uh, aware. So in terms of ethics, this form of ignorance may reduce moral responsibility to some level. For example, while attempting to stay up with legal developments, a person may unwittingly violate a law because they were ignorant or recent modifications of it. So for example, katong panahon sa ato ang COVID, atong kuan pa kayo nag-change na atong balaod diri sa isla tungod sa COVID. So if katong mga wala na update sa unsa ang bagko nga balaod, so makonsider to sila nga na sila invincible ignorance kay wala sila naka-update sa unsa man ang balaod sa ana nga time or katong pag-modify sa balaod. So that is invincible ignorance. Next is conquerable ignorance. So pwede siya makonquer, the word conquer, so conquerable ignorance. It occurs when an individual lacks knowledge or information as a result of their own negligence or unwillingness to make reasonable steps to become informed. This form of ignorance does not reduce moral responsibility because the individual could have prevented it with greater attention. For example, if a person avoids reading about the ethical implications of their business operations in order to maintain plausible deniability, they are demonstrating conquerable ignorance. Another example ana is if nagpa-post ko sa inyong GC nga muna siya ang inyong tun-an para sa oral pero ang na nasa atong classroom moingon nga wala na kay study. So muna siya pwede na itong mabutang sa conquerable ignorance. Okay? Kay provided naman pero wala gihapon siya nag bali-bali sa katong i-post na to na ilahang tun-an. Okay, next we have affected ignorance, also known as willful ignorance. Morning ka siyang ignorance nga nang gituyo gid niya. Okay, so it arises when a person chooses to remain ignorant. Okay, iyang gipili na dili niya buhaton or dili basahon tong gibutan ako sa GC para sa ilahang oral. So, chooses to remain ignorant about a topic while having access to information. Okay? So, mas grabe pa niya siya kaysa conquerable ignorance. So, for example, suppose you are aware that some clothing manufacturers, so muna siya example, use child labor in their manufacturing processes, but you choose not to research whether your favorite brand does as well. Your purposeful decision not to investigate the topic exemplifies affected ignorance. Muna siya itong gingon ako na gi-choose nila to remain ignorant or gituyo gyud nga magpa-remain og ignorante. Okay? So next we have passion. Passion we have three: concupiscible, irascible, and sensible passion. So dito sa main topic. So concupiscible passions are a set of emotions related to our needs and appetites. These passions have a huge impact on our actions and decision making, even when it comes to pursuing what we find appealing or avoiding what we believe to be dangerous or undesirable. So, three primary concupiscible passions we have love, hate, and desire. So, first, love. Love is a strong and positive emotion that draws us to something we think good, appealing, or useful. It can be the affection we feel for our family and friends, romantic love for a partner, kanang mga uyab, hapit na raw Wednesday, sa Wednesday, February 14, muna siya. Or even love for an interest or a cause. For example, you may have a strong attachment to your family, which inspires you to spend time with them, support them in their goals, and prioritize their well-being. A great example of love is the love between parents and their children or child, where parents' love motivates them to unconditionally care for and protect their sons and daughters or offspring. Hate, on the other hand, is a negative emotion that drives us away from what we consider to be harmful, unpleasant, or dangerous. It might be a strong dislike for a person, katong mga tao nga dili nimo ganahan, sa bang mga kaaway. So, dislike for a person or circumstance, so, sa ba imuhang kinabuhi karon makaniangay, hate nimo kay imong mga plano, wala gid ni tuman, nawala sa imuhang plano ang imong kinabuhi. For example here, assume you have an intense hatred for bullying. And when you watch someone being abused or being bullied, you feel an extreme hate for the act of bullying and a strong desire to put an end to it. Hatred can inspire us to act against injustice and cruelty in the world. So, muna siya ang hate. Ikaduha sa concupiscible passion. Ang ikatulo, desire. So, desire is a passion that occurs when we long for or wish to acquire something that we find appealing. Ay siyang pasabot. Na kay crush. So, desire ni mo nga mauyab ni mo imong crush. Muna siya. Something that we find appealing. Hindi ka maka-crush kung dili sila appealing. Di ba? It could be a tangible property. Pwede siya. Katong gusto maka-iPhone 15 Pro Max pero dili maka-afford. So, muna siya. Tangible property. Social rank. Sa imong status sa society. Na ba ka sa pinakaubos o nasa middle or nasa taas or even a personal accomplishment. So may mga types of accomplishment. Nakagraduate ka sa college. Part na siya. Desire ni mo nga maka-graduate sa college. So we have also here another example. So if you want to excel in your studies, this desire might motivate you to work hard, set objectives, and put in effort to achieve academic achievement. Desire can be a powerful motivator, pushing us to strive for our goals and realize our dreams. So, tanan na desire nga na ma-accomplish some things. So, this is part of concupiscible passions. Next, irascible passions. So, what is irascible passion? So, these types of passions are a set of emotions that govern how we react to challenges and unpleasant situations. They have an important part in how we deal with hardship and can have a considerable impact on our moral decision making. So we have three basic irascible passions. We have hope, despair, and courage. Okay, so first, hope. Hope is a good and optimistic emotion that occurs when we wish and anticipate a happy outcome in the midst of difficulties or uncertainties in our lives. So we hope na kung naman ito problema karon, we hope na at the end of the day na siya solution. Okay? So it is the belief that things will improve or that we'll be able to overcome adversity. For example, if you're about to take a difficult exam, hope can motivate you to study hard. Sa mag-civil service, ganyan ha. Itong mag-LPT, licensure sa mga teachers, engineering, so yan ha. Believing that their efforts will result in success. Okay? So next, we have despair. So despair is a negative emotion that arises when we feel overwhelmed and hopeless in the face of hardship. It's the sense of giving up or that things will never get better. So, kinsa may die despair ni naka-feel aning despair. Dili na ganahan maglihok. So, naka-example dere. So, if you have a string of failures and setbacks in your job ambitions or even sa inyong pag-eskwela, you may experience despair and believe that success is unattainable. So, despair can be paralyzing. Itong wala ari gana maglihok and demotivating. Mawadaan kag motivation. So, leading to inactivity and retreat from pursuing one's objectives. Katoy na na. Nawadaan na gana. Okay? Desperate, despair. Okay, so I hope na kung na-despair na ako, you hope to and hope sa itawag ma-overcome ni mo ang despair. So, dapat na I hope. Okay? Next, we have courage. Courage is a powerful virtue that involves confronting obstacle even when they are accompanied by fear or danger. So, muna siya. Despair ka dapat na kay courage to face that despair or that adversity. It is the ability to act bravely and do what is right despite the risk involved. So standing up, example standing up For someone who is being bullied, requires courage because it involves potential conflict or reaction from others. Kung apil-apil ka na, naigibully, ikaw stop, na possibility na ikaw po ang ibuli sunod. So, kinahanglan din siya na courage. Kaya dili man na natin malikayan. Ikaw na yun ang ilahang initan. Kaya nag-apil-apil ka. So, it takes courage. Okay? So, next we have sensible passion. This passion are types of emotions that are caused by external events, meaning outside events or experiences. So we have three major sensible passions. We have joy, sadness, and anger. So first, joy is a positive, happy sensation that arises when encounter something delightful, delicious, or gratifying. Okay? Makita niyo yung mong crush, happy ka. So, may joy, positive vibration. Okay? And then we have sadness. Sadness is a negative feeling, so opposite siya sa joy. It arises as a result of loss, disappointment, or discontent. So, feel sad ka if someone you love pass away. So, yan na ang loss. Disappointed po ka. Disappointed ka kaya wala ka sugot sa inyong gipanguyaban. Kaya hapit na ra ba ang February 14? Yan na siya, mas sad din ka kaya wala kay ka Valentine's Day. So that's example of sadness. And then we have the third one, anger. So anger is a strong and intense feeling that occurs when we are provoked, intimidated, or treated unfairly. When we observe unfairness or injury, we feel frustrated, irritated, or offended. So na ito post din mo sa Facebook. I don't think itong walay kwarta ang father. Nasakit iyang baby. Then gidakop siya. I don't know. Wala na ko gibasa ang tanan content. So gidakop siya. I don't. So daghan ako nagto frustrated kay life is unfair kuno. So daghan na nasuko adto nga post. Na diyan kung sino ano siya. Nani? This one. Sakit yung anak. Then nadakpan siya. I don't think di pa maka-judge ko dun sa yung sala. Kung tinuod ba or dili. Okay, so next, fear. Fear is the third modifier of human act. So, pila ka types of fear, ani? We have three. Cerebral fear, filial fear, and initial fear. So, dito sa main topic. So, civil fear is a type of fear caused by the threat of punishment or damage. It is the fear of retribution or retribution for one's behavior or conduct. A person may stop from stealing because they are afraid of getting caught and facing legal consequences. So, muna siya ang example sa civil fear. Dili na ka mangawat, di ka balo ka kung madakpan ka nga nangawat, aside sa mapriso ka, dako kayong possibility nga kung madakpan ka, kulatahon pa kanila una. Kaya kanila i-surrender sa authority. So, hadlok anang civil fear. Siya example. Then next, we have filial fear, often referred to as the reverential fear, is a fear that arises from love and respect of authority or a higher force. It is the fear of upsetting or acting against the will of someone or something highly regarded. So for example, a religious individual, so kinsa man ang mga religious leaders na to, so dili ta gusto nga ma-offend sila sa ato ang mga behavior. So we have that fear and we call that filial fear or reverential fear. The fear of God is an example of filial fear also. Okay, so next we have initial fear. Initial fear is a normal hesitation or worry that emerges before completing a morally significant action. So kanang wala pa na to gibuhat ang butang, nanatay kahadlok. So example na siya sa initial fear. Katong magpa-oral ko, wala pa gali na tawag ilang ngalan, nahadlok na sila tawagon. So that is an example of initial fear. Next, number 4, some modifiers of human acts. We have violence. Again, violence has three primary types. We have physical violence, verbal violence, and psychological violence. So first, physical violence mo ni katong gagamit og mga force, compulsions, or aggressiveness to cause harm or injury to another person or living entity. So katong manumbag sa isig katao, katong manipa lang kalit sa mga ero, labayon og bato ang mga ero. So that is physical violence against a living entity. Na may kinabuhi yapon ang mga ero, mga iring. So we consider that as physical violence. So next, we have verbal violence. It is the use of abusive language, threats, or intimidation to inflict emotional or mental harm on another person. So sa may mga examples aning verbal violence. Ito mga name calling. Tawgon ka nga bahaw ilok, putot, saba, itong, pagod, saba, saba mga name calling kasagara karon. Islat ug ilong, ana. So that's name calling. That is considered as verbal violence. Mga insults, that's also verbal violence, humiliation, and relentless criticism. Katong permente lang kay criticize. Bisan unsa nimo nga lihok na yung mag-criticize. That is verbal violence. Then last, under sa violence, we have psychological violence. So it extends beyond verbal aggression, so meaning mas labaw pa siya, to include a broader variety of damaging acts that attacks a person's feelings, self-worth, and mental well-being. It entails manipulating and controlling or undermining someone's psychological and emotional state. So, kasagara, makakita ninyo sa mga teleserye ni. Daghan kay sa mga emotion, sa mga character dito. So example ani, gaslighting, emotional manipulation. Kung dili ko nimo sugton, moambak ko aning pangpang, saya na sagara. Threats of damage na yon, and separating someone from their support networks are all examples of psychological violence. And lastly, number 5, we have habit. So habit, we have three types. We have good habit, bad habit, and mixed habit. So again, as mentioned in the previous chapter, so chapter 5, na-mention ang habit dito. Habits are patterns of behavior that we form through time as a result of repeated acts or actions. Habits has a significant impact on how we behave and the ethical implications of our judgment. So first, let's discuss good habit, sometimes called as virtue. Good habit is a constant positive behavioral characteristics that encourages someone to regularly act morally and make moral decisions. Over time, virtues or good habits are cultivated by a person's repeated good deeds and become embedded in their personality. Virtues like honesty, bravery, compassion, integrity, and patience are its examples. The cultivation of virtues results in moral excellence and enhances both individual societal well-being. And so, before we proceed, I will again require you to chat your full name. Okay, so first we have good habit. Sorry for the interruption, natay student. So, mga good habit, no? So, bad habit na punta. Again, please chat your full name para sa attendance dapit sa pinaka-last kay ako among gunamatik dan sa first ra nga part the attendance and then nawala na diyon. Nawala ng participation sa lecture during the middle part of the lecture paingon sa katapusan. So if wala mo name after sa ani ako ang gi-chat, to consider nga nawala na siya. Okay, so bad habit na ta. So usually referred to as vice or kanang bisyo is a consistent unfavorable disposition or character feature that leads someone to consistently act immorally and make bad decisions. Repeated behaviors that are damaging, immoral, or at odds with moral standards can also lead to vices. Dishonesty, greed, arrogance, brutality, and laziness are examples of vices or mga bisyo. Vices can degrade morals and hurt both the individual and others. And lastly, we have mixed habit. It is a blend of positive and harmful habits or katong mix sa good ug bad habits. So I'll give you example nga wala sa ako ang ibutang sa chapter. Let's say for example, naay sa katao nga hilig siya mag-exercise every morning. So it's either jogging, walking, or biking. Pero pagkahuman niya ana or kamulo pa siya jogging or kamulo ba siya nagbike, kamulo po siya sigarilyo. Okay, so that is a example of mixed habit, combination of positive or good and bad habit. Exercise siya para healthy pero at the same time gapanigarilyo di ay siya. Okay, so that's the modifiers of human acts, part 1. Again, I will just read the conclusion before I end this live stream. So, the modifiers of human acts examined in this chapter highlight the complex interplay between personal activity and ethical issues. Ignorance, passion, fear, violence, and habit are all crucial variables in determining the morality of human behavior. So each modifier adds a unique dimension to the ethical landscape, altering the assessment of an individual's accountability and responsibility for his or her actions. So that's it for today's online class. I will see you Wednesday. Okay, wala pa may memorandum na ikuha ng klase. I-cancel kay tungod sa Valentine's Day. So schedule will be Wednesday, quiz sa chapter 5. And then after sa chapter 5 na quiz, oral na po dayon. Okay? And your activity, weekly activity para sa chapter 5 is already available sa ato ang office. Pwede na ninyo makuha diri. Sa katuwang class treasurer, kindly collect 6 pesos para sa weekly activity. Muna siya, example, sa weekly activity. Muna siya, exploring personal voluntariness. So this is already available sa office, and the deadline for this activity will be on Thursday. Okay, so Thursday ninyo i-pass. So class treasurer, kindly collect the said amount para sa anihang weekly activity, particularly sa chapter number 5, voluntariness of human acts. Okay, so that's it. Live stream. I will end this. Thank you for your participation, and I will see you on Wednesday. Okay, so God bless and thank you.